Hey, what is up guys? So Invasion Vengeance is coming out soon, and anyways, I want to go ahead and prepare you guys for this set and let you guys know what are the best cards in the set that you want to be pulling out of your booster packs or trading some other people if they happen to have some of these cards. Now I'm only going to be covering the higher rarity, meaning super rare or higher. Obviously there's going to be good commons in the set as well, but I just want to go ahead and go over like the money cards, like the best cards out of it, because obviously if you're playing online, you don't really need to worry about when cards come out. So anyways, the first card that we're going to be talking about and showcasing off as a good card is Dimensional Barrier. So a lot of decks haven't been running it, but I still think it has a lot of potential. If someone's topping that's going to be playing 3 of these, you guys know the card is going to go up in price. But anyways, it's a trap card that says declare out 1 monster type. Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Exceed, or Pendulum. For the rest of this turn, neither player can special summon monsters with a declared type. Also negate the effects of all monsters of that type that were on the field. You can only activate 1 of them per turn, which you really only need 1 to win anyways. But overall, really good card, because if there's something that's already on board, you can still use it. If you need to prevent stuff from coming out, then you're going to be good. Like, it could absolutely destroy it. If you're playing like any Synchro deck, you just activate it and you pretty much win. There's not very many decks right now in the game other than Metal Foes that can Synchro, Pendulum, and Exceed very easy. But for the most part, the ABC, they really need that Fusion. Otherwise, that deck's not going to be doing too hot. But for the most part, it is kind of a floodgate in a sense, but it's only 1 turn, but it also does negate other things that are already on board. Like I said, I feel like this card has a lot of utility, and if someone topped a YCS or a tournament with multiple copies, of course the card is going to go up in price. So I think it is still a really good card. The next card I want to talk about is Pot of Active... We're just going to call it the pot card in this. Activitiveness? I can't, man. Acquisitiveness, but that's we'll call it that. Anyways, you get to target 3 of your banished monsters, shuffle 3 into the deck, and then draw a card. It's a really decent card. It has one downside of that you can only use 1 per turn. Really great, put back Plague Spreader, put back Malicious, really good stuff. And if you're playing, of course, any deck that like needs to cycle through cards, really good to be able to potentially put in your ABC Dragons back if they all get banished or something like that. It's just an overall really decent card. Highly recommend you guys to pick up some of these, because if there's something that comes out later, these could go up in price. It's only a super, but I figured I'd mention it anyways. Next up, we got Toadally Awesome. I know the name. I know. It's you guys can complain about it, but whatever. It's a good card. We don't really need to mention why it's good. It negates anything. And I feel like it right now isn't going to be super expensive. Yes, because it's sneak peek, but also it is a really good card. And later down the line, if something comes out that really supports level 2s, then we could be looking at a very strong deck. There has been decks that have made Totally Awesome like their win condition, and they have won. So if you guys look at some of the OCG lists, it's a really decent card, but I don't find it to be on the same levels as other things right now. So I want to say that it has a lot of potential, and don't get me wrong, it's not a bad card by any means, but I just feel like it's not on that tier 1 level right now. The next thing I want to talk about is Vermilion Dragon Mech. It's not a very good card, but I think that if Toadally gets banned, then this is a pretty decent card. Now, it only requires 2 monsters, whereas Toadally requires 3. I did a video talking about this, but I'll go over its effect really quick. So anyways, it's once per turn you can banish 1 tutor monster from your hand, field, or graveyard, and then target 1 card on the field and destroy it. And that's not during either player's turn, so that's where it really kind of sucks. But if a Synchro Summon card is destroyed by a card effect, and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 of your banished tuners and add it back to your hand. It's a relatively slow effect, and it has to be destroyed by a card effect. If it was destroyed by battle too, I feel like it'd be much better. It doesn't even special summon it, adds it to your hand. I feel like there's a lot of downsides with this card. Now, Blue Eyes can technically make some use of it, although, for the most part, you're not going to be wanting to make this. I think it has, again, it lacks that ability that Toadally has. Toadally, again, is just much better for most decks. Most decks can't really make it with just 2 cards, so that's why I feel like, yeah, maybe I guess Blue Eyes can make it, some obscure other decks can make it, but for the most part, I don't find it to be a very strong card, but nonetheless, it's a secret rare, so it'll probably worth a couple bucks. Not a bad card at all. Next up, the Subterror Nemesis Archer. We have covered Subterrors. If you guys want to check out a video, I'll link it down below. But I feel like Subterror have a little bit of potential. A lot of them have a lot of potential just to break boards that are a little bit more difficult for most decks, just because it flips like everything face down rather than like specifically targeting things. So I feel like Subterrors, they're kind of like a rogue deck right now. They're not like a high tier deck, But you guys know how Yu-Gi-Oh fans are. If it's got a girl in it, it's going to be expensive. It's a secret rare. You guys know how expensive Dark Magician girls are. Like the Dark Magician girl riding the Dragon Knight, like why is that card expensive? Exactly. Collectors. Perverts, right? Anyways, just like me though, don't get me wrong. Anyways, next up we have Dark Red Comet XYZDragon. I just wanted to mention this card. This one is also going to be a secret rare, but it has a decent effect. So anyways, it's 3 level 5 monsters. And it has the effect that if it has Dark Rebellion, it gains these effects. So once per turn you get a detached material from this card and target one face-up monster your opponent controls, its attack becomes 0, then this card gains attack equal to that monster's original attack. Then, during either player's turn when an opponent activates a monster effect, you attach a material from this card, negate the activation, and then destroy that card, then you can special summon Exceed monster from your graveyard. That's a really cool effect. I just wanted to mention it. It's a secret rare, and some people do collect Exceeds. I know this is not a number one, so it won't be as expensive as others, but I think nonetheless, it's not that bad of a card. Like, this is a pretty decent set overall as far as the secret rares go. Now we have one of the more expensive cards. More than likely, it's going to be expensive. Even if it's not meta, I feel like it's like one of those cards where people just want it. We have Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. So it's a pretty cool card. I've made videos already on it, so I'm not going to go over its effect. But if you guys want to check out the videos of Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, I'll go ahead and link them down below. But it's a really cool monster, and it has that ability to, you know, once it's fusion summoned, you get to destroy all special summon monsters your opponent controls. There was kind of a loop with this. Some people were saying it was a glitch, but nonetheless, I'll leave it down below. You guys can watch it. Next up, we have the Full Metal Foes Alakeist. A lot of decks will be playing 2 of this, and I believe this one is a secret rare. Yeah, this is another secret rare, and a lot of decks, like I said, that will be playing Metal Foes will be playing 2. But anyways, it lets you target one effect bonus on the field and just equip it to it, and it's a quick effect and it gains defense. It just lets you kind of absorb something, then you can use monsters you control equip the card as fusion material. So it can be a stepping stone, but also gets rid of problematic things that are already on board. So like Alakeist is definitely a really good card if you are interested in playing Metal Foes. But I feel like a lot of people are making like Metal Foes synchros, and I don't know if you're going to necessarily need double in it, but I know that there are a lot of builds that do play multiple. But nonetheless, it's a decent card for sure. Next up, we have a more interesting card. I don't really feel like this card is going to be too pricey. I feel like it might be one of those $2 secret rares, because I believe, yeah, this one is another secret rare. But anyways, it's Sarovus the Ancient and Ascended. So you can ritual summon it using a card, and then the main effect that you guys want is during either player's turn when your opponent would special summon a monster or monsters, you can return this card from your field to your hand, negate the special summon, and then banish it. So that is really, really good. It also has the effect when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a monster you control to go ahead and just discard the card and negate the activation, which is actually pretty good. Now the downside with that though, because I was thinking, oh, maybe people will just side deck this in if there's a specific deck that, you know, likes to target. I feel like Valor can kind of do the same thing and also negates all of its effects. As well as Ghost Ogre being able to destroy. Now this card does not destroy the card, it just negates the activation of it. So that's where I feel like this card isn't one of those cards where you can just like, oh, side deck it for like, you know, random stuff. But I don't know if anyone's going to be playing the card, but I figured I'd mention it. It is a cool card nonetheless, and it has a little bit of potential. It's not a bad card by any means. Most of the secret rares are pretty decent out of this. There is also a Dark Teller Knight. I don't know if we talked too much about this card because it's been so long. But anyways, it requires 2 level 4 Teller Knight monsters. All face-up monsters on the field become dark. So there you go. It'd be interesting to see what people try to do with this. I don't think that there's going to be anyone that runs. There's a few cards where it's like if it battles a specific, you know, dark monster or anything along the lines of that, it'll have some like bonus effect. But anyways, you can detach a material from this card and discard 1 card to special summon from your extra deck 1 light Teller Knight monster by using this face-up card as the Exceed material, and you can't Exceed summon monsters for the rest of the turn. It's treated as Exceed material and the monsters attached. And then it says, this effect can be activated during either player's turn if you have 7 or more Teller Knight monsters with different name in your graveyard. So that is kind of cool that you have access to it. But I don't know. I don't know if really there's that many people playing Teller Knights. Maybe if Rhoda came back to 2, this card could be a little bit better. But it's still nonetheless just worth a couple dollars because some cards, you know, even a couple dollars, you know, eventually kind of adds up. Next up, we have Catalyst Field, which is going to be an ultra rare. It has a lot of potential for Geminis. If any of you guys don't know what a Gemini monster is, they're monsters you have to summon twice to actually gain their effects. Otherwise, they won't have their effects. So anyways, it's each turn 1 level 5 or higher Gemini monster you normal summon can be normal summoned without tributing. And then during your main phase, you can normal summon 1 Gemini monster in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. And then also, once per turn, you get to target 1 card your opponent controls, banish 1 Gemini monster you control that is treated as an effect monster and has gained its effects until your opponent's end phase, and if you do, destroy that card. So that's kind of cool for anyone that's interested in playing Geminis. I feel like this is just hinting us towards more support, so this could be a decent card to hold on to wait later on, and then the card will go up in price. It all depends on the Gemini support. I don't feel like Geminis are super strong right now, but again, you can just start saving some cards. Next up, there's more Subterrors. I feel like Subterrors are very decent. There's another one of those decks that you just kind of got to watch out for. So this one, its flip effect is to change all other face-up monsters in the field to face-down defense position. That's where, again, where I mentioned before, like, it gets you out of situations that some decks don't have access to because they have to target things to flip and face-down. Although this card is level 12, so good luck really summoning that. More than likely, you're going to be special summoning it and, you know, flipping it. But nonetheless, again, it's got decent stats too. The only downside is it doesn't have that much defense. But when a face-up monster you control is flipped face-down, if you control no face-up monsters, you can special summon this card. So you can see it has a decent ability to summon itself. But again, it only has 1800 defense. Maybe you can run that D2 shield, right? Defense OTK. Next up, there's Vola, Chemi Critter, Methy Draco. So this requires Gemini monsters, and when it succeeds summon, you get to target a Gemini monster in graveyard to special summon it. Again, it's more Gemini support, and then what has material monsters your opponent controls cannot target face-up Gemini monsters for attacks. Also, your opponent cannot target face-up Gemini monsters you control card effects. So they can't be targeted for attacks, and you can't get rid of them by targeting them. So there's a little bit of protection around this card. And then also when a Gemini monster is normal summon, you get to detach a material from this card to make your opponent send one card from their hand or field to the graveyard. So that's a decent little effect over there as well. Again, Geminis aren't super hot right now, but it has a little bit of potential. This card is more so cool than anything. I believe this one is still a super rare, unless oh, it doesn't even show the English one. I'm pretty sure this one's a super rare, guys. But anyways, when an opponent's monster declares an attack on a synchro monster you control, you can negate the attack, then you can apply the rest of this card's effect. So you banish a synchro monster you control and one tuner from your graveyard. And if you do, special summon one monster. Special summon from your action of one synchro monster whose level equals the total level of the banished monster. The special summon is treated as a synchro summon. It's probably only going to be with $1, but I know a lot of you guys just wanted this card because it's one of those like anime favorite cards, I want to say. For whatever reason, I've seen a lot of messages from you guys saying, can you make a King Synchro? I'm probably sure it was cool in the anime. That's what I'm guessing why you guys wanted me to make it. It's not that good, but sometimes cards that aren't good are still worth like $1 or $2 because fans like them. Next up, I just wanted to mention really quick that the Crystons are actually in this. They're not very good in my opinion in terms of like, you know, super high tier meta, but they're a fun little synchro deck that you guys can mess around with. There's also a few new Spiral cards. I believe in the English they are, yeah, this was another super rare. I've done a video on Spirals already. If you guys want to check that out, again, I'll link some of these stuff down below. But anyways, as far as the Spirals go, I feel like they have a little bit of potential. It's again one of those decks where you guys gotta have to wait and see what other support they get later on. There's also Spiral Resort, really insanely good card, but Spiral's just not on that level of ABC right now. Again, some of the Crystal. This one is the Phoenix over here. Again, it's just like it might be worth like $1 or $2, and it's something new, so I figured I'd mention it because some people will want that. There's also Wingan Tanho, Origin of the Yang Zing. I feel like this card has a little bit of potential as far as like what it's worth. It might be worth like $5-10 on Sneak Peek, but obviously Sneak Peeks, the prices can fluctuate really fast. But yeah, that's it for like the really good cards that I think that are really worth like pulling or trading for. Even if they're worth a couple $. Again, this is pretty much like what's in the set. But for the most part, I find it to be Dimension Barrier, the Pot of Astaquestiveness, I think is what it's pronounced, and then Totally Awesome. Those are like the main money cards, and then also Starve, Venom, and the Subterror. Like I think these are like the best cards, and the Subterror Nemesis Archer for all you perps. But anyways, that's it for the best cards. If you felt like I missed on any, let me know down below in the comment section. We're just talking, you know, super rare or higher. Obviously, there's good commons, but again, the point of covering the best cards in the set is obviously for people to pull out of the packs. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. And if you enjoyed the vid, make sure you guys get a like button, a titty slap, and I am signing out. And don't forget to watch all those vids that I mentioned before if you guys want to check out any of the things that I mentioned. But I'm signing out.